So a brief introduction to Pandas, which is a very specific Python library that has been designed to do data analysis, to have a look at sets and series, create data frames, and then begin to analyze, in some cases, very large sets of data. So, as with other libraries, you need to have it installed before you can start to use it. So if you are using this Thonny IDE, it should just be a case of managing packages as we've done before. Look for Pandas, search for it on PyPy, and just grab Pandas and install it from here. If you're using something like VS Code, PyCharm, those systems may have a slightly different way of getting this library, or you may have to use PIP or PIP3 to get it instead. But hopefully somebody has pre-installed this for you and you're good to go. So how does it work? Well, the first thing you need to do, as we've done previously, is install Pandas. Now you can just leave it at that. If we run that, we don't get any errors. That means Pandas is installed. Everything's generally looking okay. But often what people will do is they'll install it using what's called an alias. So we import Pandas as PD, and then every time we use something that relates to the Pandas library, we put PD dot in front of it, so we can easily straight away recognize that that's something that's a Pandas thing and not just a Python thing. Okay, so first thing is, how does it actually work? Well, there's a couple of different ways that you can create and manipulate data, and later on we'll have a look at how you can import from rather large sets of data in lists and spreadsheets and things, and how you manipulate that data as well. So the first thing we want to do is create some data that we can do something with. Okay, now I'm going to put PD dot. That again reminds me this is a Pandas thing, and Pandas has something called series. So how it works is it goes in between normal brackets, but then the thing that you want to appear in your set of data for Pandas to understand then goes inside square brackets. So I'll just do something simple, like a list of text, so that we can see how it displays it and how we can then start manipulating it. So I'll just put some names in here. Okay, we'll just invent some random names just to put something in there. Okay, so I now got a series of data, and it's just Mike, Bill, and Joanne, and you can see because it's a string, it's in the quotes there, and it's got the commas to separate it. Now, if I were to just print that column now, okay, so same as we've done before, print column, and then run it. Okay, what you see down the bottom here in the editor is I've got Mike, Bill, and Joanne, because it's put that into a column for me. But it's also added this index of 0, 1, 2. That's a Pandas thing. You can change that index yourself, but it does it automatically. You can turn it off yourself, but if you don't tell it to do either of those things, you will automatically get row 1 is 0 and row 2 is 1 and so on all the way down. So if I now added another thing into this list here and then run it again, see, it just automatically numbers it, gives it an index number for me. And that's useful for us later on when we come to think about slicing up some of this data to make it more manageable or to do something more specific with it. So what if I want to change 0, 1, 2, and 3 to something else? Well, all I have to do inside the normal brackets, but after the square bracket, I just define what I want the index to be. And again, that needs to go in these square brackets. And you'll need to put in, obviously, here I've got 1, 2, 3, 4 objects in this column. So I'm going to need 4 indexes. Now, I don't have to start at 0. I can just do 10, 20, 30, 40, and then that'll give me, when I run it, okay, so now the first line is 10, 20, so you don't have to stick with the index it gives you, and you don't have to be forced to start with 0. Okay, so fairly straightforward so far. So we've learned how to import Pandas, how to create a series of data in a single column, put some information into that column, and give it an index that we have chosen.